So wait. Did you start the show already or not? I don't think you did.
No, we have not yet. Mixed Jinzo just said Fortnite is rubbish. Changed my mind. Ooh,
Oh.
Mixed Jinzo, we're gonna have a falling out, you and I.
We're gonna have a forting out night.
No,
doesn't
tonight.
work. Never mind.
Welcome to the second episode of the Objection podcast. I am your host, Birdkeeper Toby, and joining me, of course, is the other host, Falcone HS. Say hello, Dan.
Hello, Dan.
Yeah, clever pun. Clever man.
What an old
The
fashioned.
first person ever to say that joke. Hey, Dan, what's the oldest joke you know? Do you think you know?
You.
And that was the second episode of the Objection podcast.
And the
Goodbye,
last
everyone.
episode as
I
well.
hate the other host. We're done. So, of course, if you are joining us, welcome back. Of course, I had a cracker about what did the sea say to the shore? It stood there and waved. It was like a good classic old joke, and you just came in with your savagery. And
I can salvage this. I can salvage this. I meant the joke where like you call someone else a joke. That's the oldest joke. No, I didn't mean you specifically. Birdkeeper Toby is the oldest joke I know. I meant the joke where you say you instead of.
Sure.
I'm trying to save myself. I'm trying to
You're
probably
trying.
digging a hole.
You
here.
say salvage. It's more like you're. Wow. Okay.
Anyway, let's.
So this is last week we had a good old chat about the games that our favorite games of last year. This week I reckon we'll probably talk a little bit about the games we're looking forward to this year, and then that's all the topics we ever will have, and we'll be struggling for the next.
Well, we can talk about games we're looking forward to next year, the week after, in 2019.
We can. By the time we're like 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, we'll be talking about games of 2020.
By the time we're like 8 or 9 weeks in, we might get to like Portal 3.
Whoa, that'll never happen. I don't see them never doing a Portal 3. Do you think they'll ever do Portal 3?
I have no idea.
Portal 3, Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3. Just doesn't seem.
It's kind of like I can't imagine them doing Portal 2 as well a second time because like.
Yeah.
It was such a unique experience, which sounds dumb because Portal 1 came first, but the way the sort of story is told was such a new, fresh, unique experience. It's difficult for them to imagine following that up.
You know, it's one of those things where I do realize the title is maybe slightly wrong on our stream. I might have to.
Games are you looking forward to?
There you go. That's the O thing. We were just talking about that the other day with my heavy dyslexia. Why am I in charge of doing this? You know, it's interesting you should talk about that because Portal's one of those examples where they did it. Like you say, they did it so right the last time. It's kind of become this like sort of thing of legend, like Portal. You know, if you do it again, you've got to guarantee that you're hitting that same quality. And I think that leads us in quite nicely to the first game that I would want to talk about in terms of games I'm looking forward to this year, which is Last of Us 2. The Last of Us, of course, certainly one of my favorite games. One of your favorite games,
yeah,
I think?
for sure. It's somewhere like 7th, 8th, 9th in my sort of top 10 games, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's definitely up there. I mean, an incredible story. Last of Us 2 is this year, and they've got that issue of legacy where the game is so widely known as being this incredible 10 out of 10 masterpiece kind of game that it's kind of scary. And certainly when the game rounded off in a perfectly fine single installment kind of way, they told the story they were going to tell. There is that fear of is there just this being made for money, or you know,
right?
Hopefully it's going to be artistic. Hopefully, but even then, it's constantly going to be compared to its first game.
Don't mind me. I'm frantically skimming websites listing like all games coming out this year. I can come up with my list of the while we're going through this. But to be totally honest, before we do move forward to games I'm looking forward to this year, I think it's probably fair to mention that quite a few good games have already come out this year. Like, because we've done last year, right? We're doing games we're looking forward to this year. Well, what about the interim? What about January, February? Because one of the games
come out in January, February.
Well, for me, this is one that you won't be interested in, but I have been playing Dragon Ball FighterZ pretty much non-stop for the last.
You have been, haven't you? Yeah.
It's my game other than Fortnite that I've been playing all the time, and I don't know, something about that game just works. it's sort of like so. Brief history of me with fighting games. I've always liked Tekken. Tekken's quite simple. It's quite different from sort of the more hardcore fighting games like Street Fighter, like Marvel vs. Capcom, which are all very sort of combo heavy and that kind of thing. But what Dragon Fighters is also very combo heavy. And looking at it, I was thinking this looks like the kind of game I won't like. But for some reason, I gave it a go, and it's very, very simple, very, very easy to get into. Like, it's actually got a super low skill floor, because you can come in, you can use auto combos, and you can sort of learn the basics very easily. And then for me, I've just been wanting to get better and better and better and learn these more advanced things. And every single week, like, I play against Jake a lot, our friend Jake, and we've both gone off, we've learned a few more things, we come back, we fight, and we've both gotten a little bit better, and then we go off again, and we come back, and we fight, and we've both gotten better again. And it's just, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm already, if I just check Steam here, I've played 69 hours already, since it came out like a month ago.
I think that's always a lot of fun, though, when you have a friend who you can
right.
journey alongside, and they're going through the same process of you, of like learning, and you develop your skill set a little bit, so then in response they do the same, that kind of thing. It's kind of us with Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time, was like you'd go off and adapt your deck and then update your what you were doing, and you discover a new way of playing or some new strategy, and then I do the same in response to that, and that kind of stuff was really, really fun. But yeah, no, I've sadly never been able to get into the fighting game genre apart from Smash Bros, which is obviously very different. We played PlayStation All Stars for a while.
Thing is,
that was kind of fun.
I don't really. I mean, I'm not sure if strictly they are considered fighting games, but
I don't think they are.
If they are, they're very, very different to sort of your generic 1v1.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love Smash. I absolutely love. I actually loved PlayStation All Stars as well when it, because again, a bunch of us played it together. The other advantage I've got with fighters is that one of my fellow Hearthstone casters, Sottle, is a huge fighting game fan, always has been, and he is so good at the game just instantly, because he's got so much experience with all these other fighting games, and he's been teaching me a little bit, and then a couple of others have been playing it as well. So there's quite a few of us doing it. I will say, if there's a fighting game that would get you into it, Toby, fighters would be one to try, because of how simple it is to kind of start.
I mean, simplicity really is a thing. I remember when I went to uni for the first time, and one of the guys I was rooming with, he was really into his Marvel vs. Capcom, and he was telling me, oh, there's all these strategies that you'll get down muscle memory, and you'll learn the combos and that kind of thing. Just for whatever reason, my brain and the way control setups work in fighting games, I just can't get it down. It's really, really sad, because it sounds like a lot of fun, the whole thing you and Jake have got going on. It's like, oh yeah, I'd love to.
It is, and your friend's right about muscle memory, but the problem I always had with previous games is just getting into it, because like with many things, the community is sort of has an inside joke where like you get into it and then you get it, but there's that little transitional period between not getting it and getting it. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And like when you get it, you're like, okay, now I know what to do to improve. Now I can watch these YouTube videos and actually understand them, and then I can actually progress a little bit further. And that's sort of the key point to get to. But I just wanted to give that some love. Celeste.
No, totally fair. I feel like I don't have anything. I wish I had something to share from the beginning half of this year.
I was going to go on to say Celeste also came out this year, I believe, which is something that I literally just bought a few days ago for my flight back from South Korea, and was playing that, and I've only played the first 3 levels, and it's really fun. It's really hard. Really, really hard game.
I should get Celeste. I've heard only incredibly positive things, and people just saying get Celeste, buy Celeste. It's an incredibly good game.
To give you a sort of I guess example of how hard the game is, in the 3rd level I died over 300 times.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Excuse me? Because in the 3rd level you died nearly 300 times.
So like the way it works is death is instant, so like pretty much the moment you die you've respawned again, so it's not like like, oh, I'm dead. Oh, that's so frustrating. It's just you don't go again. Like there's and it's very hard. I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay. Okay. Well, that sounds terrifying. I wish I had something that I could think of. I'm looking around my room. Like, was there any DS games that have come out this year? I mean, Detective Pikachu comes out, I think, this month.
Oh, how exciting!
I'm not even remotely. And they're doing a movie of it as well.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
They're doing a movie with Ryan Reynolds, and I'm like, the weird thing was, I'll tell you something. They did come out this year was the update to Pokemon Go, which had some of the home Pokemon. Okay. And with it came this incredible, you've probably seen it, trailer with Stephen Fry's voice.
Yes,
and it's like a blue planet. I get that trailer so much. It's the coolest thing Pokemon to have come out, like, certainly this year, and probably in a long time in terms of the media. And I tweeted out, like, okay, so when do we get this as a movie instead of, like, the Pokemon movies we've been getting, or Detective Pikachu? When do we get this, the Pokemon real life documentary series? And a guy who works at the Pokemon company retweeted it, who've been working on that project. And I'm just like, yes, come on, when do we have this? But in terms of actual gameplay, I mean, I haven't been playing Pokemon Go. I loaded it up for the first time in like a year and a half to help out my friend Joe with this Kyogre, and it didn't go well because I'm horribly underleveled.
I have a pretty unfair resentment to the game. Just literally just because my mum is obsessed with it and has been ever since it came out.
Don't do that. Don't be one of those people that just dislikes it because someone else likes it.
It's like, yeah, but it's she's such a pain with it, Toby. She's such a pain. Like, every time, like, you know, say we go and walk our dog ghost together, like every time she's like hanging back. Oh, sorry, I've just got to do this right. It's just every time. If I'm in a car with her, if she's taking me somewhere, right? Oh, can you just do my Pokestops for me every time? And
wait, is she still doing it?
Yeah.
Oh man, has she got the Pokego Plus? Has she got the like, little?
I don't think so, but
she can get that.
It's like,
she can get that. Oh man, your mum's really cool. I love you, mum.
But like, she'd always go like, oh yeah, I caught and then say the name of a Pokemon horrifically wrong.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't worry about that. I do that, and I make videos about Pokemon.
Well, that's true.
I see their names wrong all the time.
Not for you. I'll let her know. I'm sure she'd love to. Go Poke hunting. That was for anyone listening audio only.
Do you know, this is a slight side tangent, and I don't know how quite. I mean, we're on Pokemon Go now, which is not the topic of this podcast, but
it doesn't matter.
When Pokemon Go came out, there were dating apps like Tinder for Pokemon Go, where you could put in, and obviously I know because I wanted to like just see what it was about, obviously for science, for research, obviously. And you could like put your team like Mystic Valor, Instinct, and you could like only swipe on people of certain teams. And obviously there's like 100 dudes on this app that's really unpopular, and like one girl. Like that's a whole app.
Is there a girl though, Toby? Is there one girl?
I don't. Exactly. Is there? I don't know. But it was certainly a lot of. It was just. I just downloaded it and spent about 20 minutes looking at this app. Like, this is mad. Of course, this is a thing.
The game was fun when it came out, but what really bothers me is that like people, my mum included, like, you know, they think they really, really love Pokemon, and it's like they have no idea what an actual Pokemon game is. Like, no idea whatsoever. And that's me being a complete snob, like, right? But like,
it's like those dudes who would like see us playing at Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, and they come up and they go, "Oh yeah, I had the best one. I had that Blue Eyes card. Yeah, it was I had the Blue Eyes and the Dark Magician and the Red Eyes, and like, I had one of the Exodia bits. He was like the strongest dude." And we just there like playing competitive meta, like, yeah, you really know your Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah,
and it's the same thing where people are like, "Oh man, Pokemon, that's still around," and it's like, yeah, we've been here for a while.
But to be honest, I'm being a complete snob when I say that. Like, it's great. All things considered, it's actually great that Pokemon Go has gotten more people into it, more people interesting.
It's said with a level of cynicism, like, it's only a good thing that, you know, more people are playing video games of any kind, whether that's Pokemon Go or actual Pokemon. But it's all good.
All right, so were there any other games that are coming out this year that you're particularly excited about?
Well, I mean, Last of Us 2, I guess, is one that's coming out this year. I'm pretty stoked for that.
We did that one. Are there any others? Or just The Last of Us 2 is a good game.
There's The Last of Us 2. There's unconfirmed, obviously, Pokemon Switch is a topic that could or could not be spoken about, but we don't know. There's obviously unconfirmed Smash Bros. We don't know.
That I'm excited for, yeah.
The rumor is that yes, you know, in terms of, I feel like there is another game, but you're gonna have to, I think, go down your end while Spider-Man, yes, and that's it. I'm stoked for Spider-Man. I cannot wait. It looks so. Normally, because everyone knows like, oh, Spider-Man 2, that's the good Spider-Man game, which was the one based on the film with Tobey Maguire. And since then, Spider-Man games, from what I hear, have just kind of been a bit lackluster. The swinging has been
just been
kind of
games,
weird,
right?
Yeah, but the trailer for this, this Spider-Man game, I mean, it looks like it has, no connection to the films or anything like that. It just looks like super fun web slinging through New York.
Oh, it's Insomniac, isn't it? Insomniac.
Yes, I think so.
So
it's a Sony property, obviously. So it's only on PlayStation. But I'm just looking for. I know that's a period of time where, granted, I probably it's not going to become my whole life. But for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I'll probably play that thing to 100%.
Insomniac. So Spyro the Dragon, Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Fame. Sunset Overdrive for anyone more recent. I'm sure there's a bunch of others I've missed.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for that. I'm very excited for Spider-Man. You've got the list up.
I actually keep closing it stupidly. I mean, I'm skipping through it. Like, people are gonna be. I'll be surprised if no one's mad that we've not mentioned Monster Hunter World, because that's a huge game that came out recently.
Oh yeah.
I've not played it. I've played one of the older Monster Hunters. I didn't get into it. I have been told that if I tried Monster Hunter World, I'd love it. I'm sure it's probably true, but there's just time to get into a mammoth. It's a big investment, a game like that, I think.
Did you not get into I feel like you got into a DS one?
Yeah. Well, I played it very briefly. I didn't get into it.
Right. Yeah. No. I've been told very much the same thing. Monster Hunter. You'd love Monster Hunter. Oh, okay.
To be totally honest, there's only one other big one I can think of, and that's Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh yeah.
Which may or may not come out at some point. It's like the Portal 3, really.
So if you hear it exists, but you never quite know.
But yeah, so that's. I mean, I'm sure the thing is with games nowadays is that, like, I don't particularly see a game coming out in the future and think, oh, I'm so excited for that, unless it's new Halo game, new Smash game, franchise that I'm heavily invested in.
Yeah, everything we've just said there is an extension of a franchise that we're already heavily invested in, right?
Like, more often than not, it's like a game will come out, I'll see someone playing it, or someone will recommend it to me, and I will try it, and I'll play it, and then...
Hey, that looks like fun.
Fortnite, right?
Fortnite's a perfect example.
Current favourite game... I played it because someone linked it to me at some point and said, hey, this looks like everything I like about PUBG, but better. And so I played it, and like, cool, I'm going to tell Toby about this. And
and I mean, who made it? It's Epic Games, so that was what, Gears of War?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Like, I've never had an extreme attachment to the Gears of War series. That's exactly the kind of thing where it's just like, it just pops up out of the woodworks, and then it was like, this is just, I'm going to play this because it's fun, and not because, I'm particularly... invested in what Epic Games does, or the lore of Battle Royale.
I'm invested in Epic Games now, though. Like, as a developer, the stuff they've done with that game since launch, the support they've given it has been phenomenal. Seriously.
Well, I think the thing is, they fully put their resources and moved them away from other titles into this. I was just watching another video by Clean Prince Gaming, who we talked about last week. I guess he uploads at this time every single week just before we podcast, and so I was watching that before we came live, and he was saying that they've moved all of the resources out of other projects and into this, which is both a good and bad thing, because obviously if this dies, then which it's probably not going to die, it's like pretty active, but it's more so that like the way that they've even moved resources away from the Fortnite bit of the game and into the Battle Royale, because it's like just that's what you think of when you think of Fortnite, which is, again, fine, fair with me. I'm perfectly happy with that.
It's mostly for me the fact that they've released a new item every week without fail since, like,
the map is different, something new is going on. They've just released Lucky Landing.
Yeah, Lucky Landing came out,
which is like a new little area
that came out with the hunting rifle. The week before that, it was the hand cannon. The week before that, it was the impulse grenade. I think every single week, without fail, they have released something new. Which is just nuts. It's crazy, and revamped the challenges and everything. There should be a new item tomorrow. Don't know what it is yet. Excited. Might be the jetpack that they postponed. That will be very cool. But as far as the idea of Fortnite disappearing goes, I just checked Twitch very quickly. Not the best metric to see popularity of a game, sure, but I'm just, I can see here a very clear view of how many people are watching each game. top game currently on Twitch is Dota 2 with 231,000 viewers. Second, Fortnite, 217,000 viewers.
Said not that, yeah.
Then League of Legends with almost half that number. Then PUBG with less than 100,000. And then IRL, then Counter-Strike, then Hearthstone. Like, they are the top games at the moment.
And then our podcast, which is
sadly not. That's not listed. But yeah,
you had any
the point is Fortnite is just always. I haven't seen Twitch. I haven't specifically looked at Twitch to see view counts and noticed Fortnite not in the top 2 for quite some time.
Yeah,
and I was wondering if you heard about the drama related to Twitch and Ninja and
no. What's going on with Twitch and Ninja today?
So, do you know who Ninja is?
He's like that big. He's the big Fortnite streamer who's like really crazy good, right?
Yeah. One time, we watched quite a while back. We watched a clip of his, or we were watching him live, and he just won a game and snorted everyone. It was great.
He builds like an artist. He's just like, here's a palette, whoa, blah blah.
All
blah,
of the
edit.
All of the top streamers do, but yeah. So Ninja is a pretty big Fortnite streamer. He was a Halo Pro player, and he's started streaming Fortnite, and he's really blown up. But then in the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's accelerated dramatically to the point where he's gone from averaging something like 30,000 to 80,000 viewers live. Wow. 80,000 people watch him live every day. He usually gets to 100,000 now at some point during his stream. But here's the really nuts part. Subscribers. He has started getting a lot of subscribers. And when I say a lot of subscribers, he has just become the first Twitch streamer ever to hit 100,000. Now, bearing in mind, a sub costs $5. Like, it's just completely nuts. The reason there's drama, though, is because some have suspected that there's some bot activity. And I don't know exactly how it would work, but supposedly someone gets a hold of a bunch of Twitch Prime accounts and a bunch of Twitch Prime subs happen, and I think it's been proven to be false, or at least Amazon has announced that that's not what's happened. But either way, he's a very, very successful man right now.
Yeah. I mean, you can only imagine, right?
But this only speaks to the popularity of Fortnite, right? Like, the most subs anyone's ever had on Twitch. 100,000 concurrent viewers every day. Fortnite. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's how, like, I mean, even PewDiePie, like, didn't a lot of his success and growth happen during certain periods of certain games, like Five Nights at Freddy's, I think.
Yeah, sure.
The one that I'm aware of, and like, it's just that thing where the game becomes super popular. But I mean, blimey, that's a lot of subs.
Yeah,
that's a lot of subs, and that's a lot of that he can. Wow.
Yo, Ninja, could we just borrow like 5% of your subs? That would be that'd be good.
Please. Yeah. I mean, so NerdViews made an interesting point. The concern about being a channel dedicated to one game is what happens when nobody cares about that game anymore.
Well,
I think that's an interesting topic.
I have the answer. The answer pretty easily. Ninja used to be a Halo Pro player and streamer.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about Halo anymore. He's doing just fine.
He's doing just fine. You move to the next thing. We were just talking before the stream about Pokemon and where the future of that's going, and I'm very excited for Pokemon on Switch. I'm super excited for that. But I've seen a Pokemon YouTuber called Shady Penguin. He's now doing Yu-Gi-Oh content. I checked in on his channel the other day. I stopped watching because I don't watch Yu-Gi-Oh content. He's doing incredible. He's got this new audience and this new wave. It is possible to transition from one game to another. Just be prepared to lose certain members of your audience, I suppose, as you make that transition.
Yeah.
And be certain about the transition that you want to make.
But skills carry over, like audiences carry over as well. Not everyone, like you said, but the thing is, obviously Ninja, Halo Pro player, very good at shooting games, jumps into Fortnite, already got the edge over the thousands and thousands of plebs like us.
Yeah. And on top of that, the people who are coming from Halo, who maybe, do you know what? It's really weird. I've tried playing Halo since playing Fortnite. And I just it doesn't feel as fun to jump into anymore, which is really kind of scary because I loved Halo and I don't want to think I no longer like Halo. It's not true that I don't like it. But you'll get players who are going through that same journey of maybe the online multiplayer game of choice was Halo for them. Now they're moving over to Fortnite and they've got someone else that they can watch who is on that same journey. someone who they already saw as a pro player.
It's so funny though. I really do think that the Fortnite versus PUBG debate is so similar to the Halo versus Call of Duty one.
It was.
You got the unrealistic fun one versus the super realistic nitty gritty military one.
On the edge, yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Oh man.
Well, we pretty much covered games. I think that
we pretty much exhausted that topic.
Let's talk about you.
Me? What's? Oh, well, I don't. I mean, where are we going with this?
Halo 3 was the only Halo I enjoyed. That's my favorite one too, Objection. Yeah. So we were going to talk. We sort of, because the conversation about games last year went on for so long, we didn't get to talk about anything else last week. So let's dial it down. Let's go a little bit more general. Tell me about yourself, Toby.
I'm 23, going on 24. I'm single.
All right,
I live in the.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What have you been up to recently?
Well, I mean, I came around your house and I watched Thor Ragnarok. That was a thing.
Oh, you did? That's cool. I didn't know about that.
You weren't aware of that? You weren't aware of that? I'm working on a big mega project of for YouTube, which is this 12/13 part series on the evolutionary tree of Pokemon life and how, if all Pokemon evolved in the same way that they do in our world, obviously they have a very different usage of the word evolution within the franchise itself. But if they evolve in the same way that they do in our world, how that tree of life would look, how the reptiles relate to the mammals and amphibians and mollusks and whatever else, and then also combining in what I know about Pokemon lore. And I've begun work on this project. We've been doing fundraisers here on Twitch. We've been doing it with the streams. We've currently raised I think £725 towards a £1,000 goal, which is nuts. That's happened. I mean, when we were last streaming last week, I think it was at 200-300. Really so bad. It's the growth in a week is incredible. People are supporting the series. And I haven't even shown them like a proof of concept. It's so sweet. People are just doing this based off of my word, which is incredibly kind. Lots of people watching now. And I'm developing this series. I've begun work on it, and my enthusiasm for it, I can tell you, I haven't felt this good about a project I'm working on. And it's kind of sad. Someone said, "Oh, well, let's talk about you." It's Pokemon, but like I'm very much thrown into YouTube and my work at the moment. I'm very much like I found myself with a lot of time where I'm just focused in on work, and I'm like, okay, cool. What am I making next? What am I making next? It's bringing me joy.
That's a good sign. Like more often than not, the more that you're looking forward to making a project, and the more you're enjoying making a project, the more hopefully everyone watching this is going to enjoy it. So that's
I mean that's it. It's weird though, because then when people give you money, their actual money, which they've earned or been given, there's a sort of level of responsibility of, please don't. What if this sucks? Don't make it suck. Make it cool. Make it really, really cool. Because some people donate like £1, which is great because it's like very little on their end. They're not going to suffer for it or anything like that. And then on my end, if it's good, they enjoy it, it's £1 well spent. But if it's bad, it's £1 not like lost. Now, I'm fully like sure that this series is going to be good, but some people have donated like big amounts, up to the hundreds. I think someone's done like over £100, and I'm like, that's like 1/10 of the series. What if I disappoint? Like, I hope that person just knows that they're, I'm going to make something really, really awesome.
I would imagine that person has enjoyed enough of your content before.
That's it.
Firstly, have faith, and secondly, if it's not what they expected, they still enjoyed your content before, so probably still, happy with the donation. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
That's cool. So I'm heavily working on that, and then I've also got I've got very far ahead of work in terms of like other videos recorded, which is allowing me room to maneuver these videos. And I'm just hoping that when we get to like my birthday time in April, I'm going to kick up to like double uploads and feel incredibly comfortable that what I'm making is that there's constant content going out and that people are enjoying it. I don't know. I'm just very psyched about work at the moment. That's very much where my headspace is.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you watched Thor Ragnarok.
I did watch Thor Ragnarok. Hey, what have you been up to this last week? Did you watch Thor Ragnarok?
Funnily enough, my friend Toby came over, and we actually watched Thor Ragnarok together as well.
We dink.
That yeah. Now I'd already seen it. I saw it at the cinema. Yep. You hadn't. It was your first viewing. Mm-hmm. What did you think?
I feel really bad because my feelings are, and I guess we'll try not to spoil for anyone who hasn't seen it, but it's, you know, it's been a while now, guys. It's out on DVD. I feel really bad because I watched it and I kind of went, well, it was pretty and funny, and it's kind of like, well, what more do you want then, Toby? And I'm just like, just want more plot. Just don't feel like there's enough plot. I was having a little like grump about it, like just didn't like it that much, and it's sad because I think about it a lot, and I just like I feel like maybe I just wasn't wrapped up enough in its world. So there was, I think I find that a lot with the Thor films. I think there's just a lot for me to these stories of gods and beings and creatures. I don't feel like enough of it was grounded for me in something that I could like latch onto and you know Thor.
What a movie snob. Yeah, I agree.
What a movie snob. But it is. Do you know what? I realize that I've very much become that. I do. It pains me to say it. I love the Oscars level movies. I love the you know all the stuff that was this week, the Oscars. And I love those films that they put forward for that stuff. And I do try and see what I can. I think I saw a good couple of those films, and those films are the films that it's kind of like what we're saying about video games, where like Thor, it's like part of a franchise I'm already invested in. I'm gonna go see that because I know I'm gonna enjoy it to a certain level. But then there's these films that will pop up like Three Billboards Out of Ebbing, Missouri, or Darkest Hour, and I'll go and see them, and I won't know what to expect, and I'll watch it, and I'll just go, damn, that was a film. Like, what was that? And I think that's just maybe it then ruins my taste a little bit for other franchises that maybe I really like. I just think there's better Marvel films out there. But it was good. It was funny.
Where does it rank for you in terms of the Marvel films? Because personally, I agree with, I think, the main sentiment that chat's had, which is that I didn't really like the first two Thor films, but I thought Ragnarok was really good. Probably top 10 in the Marvel cinematic universe.
Are there as many as 10 Marvel films that I think are better than it?
I thought you were going to say, are there as many as 10 Marvel films that I like then? I was thinking,
no.
All right.
I mean, I think it's probably in my top 10 for me. But it's probably like a 9 or a 10 or an 8. You know, it's like there's just other films that I preferred for different reasons. In terms of Thor film, it's definitely the best Thor film. Like, you know, and it's easily a decent Guardians film.
Well, yeah.
So it's even though it's not Guardians of the Galaxy at all, I do see what people say when they're like, "Oh, it's like a Guardians."
The theme is very, and the way the humor is, yeah.
Hey, it's even a good Doctor Strange film, but it's not. It's definitely the best Thor film. I totally get what you were saying in terms of like thematically, in terms of music and lighting and visuals and stuff. It had a very strong, what was it, 70s? Did we say presence about
like
it?
That, yeah.
And obviously the song that's in that trailer that you know everyone went nuts for. That song. Who's that by? That was Metallica, maybe. It's got lots of lyrics that are very obviously there's like Hammer of the Gods and Valhalla I'm Coming Home and all these other lyrics
with the lyrics from the band, yeah,
with the band, the music. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, my thing with films, with superhero films that I've told you about a bunch, and I've told my chat about a bunch before, which is the whole big baddie shoots things, powers. Yeah, we know she's dead because next film she's not going to be in it, and I don't care that much. You know, it just that's where they lose me a little bit, and that suspense of disbelief has kind of gone a bit. Where I'm just like, well, I don't care about the fight, then, do I? Just tell me some other story. But that's just me. Well, I mean, what do you think about Thor Ragnarok? Because you really enjoyed it.
I loved it, but you know, I do enjoy the fights. I do still have the suspension of disbelief. Like I still, you know, when they're using their superpowers together and surprising us in the different ways that they kill the bad guys. Like, yeah, okay, sure, we know the bad guy's gonna die, but sometimes it's very entertaining to watch the good guys do it. And I'm maybe have a less mature taste in films than you do, Toby. I mean,
wow.
In real terms, like I don't watch that many films nowadays. I watch a lot of series, but I don't go to the cinema. I only go to the cinema to watch Marvel films because it's the only franchise I'm invested in, and I just really a lot of the time I can't be bothered to go to the cinema. I'd rather just stay at home and play a video game or like, you know, play some Hearthstone, watch some Netflix, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'd rather do that than go to the cinema. In fact, speaking of Netflix, I've been rewatching. I told you I've been rewatching Better Call Saul.
How's that going?
I think last time I spoke, I was 2 episodes in. Now I'm 1 season and 2 episodes in. Again, keep in mind, I've flown to South Korea and back since last week. I've had a lot of time to just watch Netflix on my tablet, and yeah, I'm really, really enjoying the show. Potentially even more than I did last time.
That's good. That's good. I do need to continue my rewatch of that. I got to the end of my rewatch of How I Met Your Mother, and that was beautiful, and I cried, and it was all wonderful. And then I'm kind of like just lost, looking at a couple of episodes of different series. Like I tried watching, I watched a good 3-4 episodes of Glow. I watched a good 3-4 episodes of My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I tried watching Friends again, but it felt like too much of a betrayal to How I Met Your Mother to like just move on, to move on so quickly to a new sitcom.
I know the feeling though, like when you're looking for something to watch and you want something that you can sort of just binge for a long time. And again, that's why Suits was so good and helpful and great. Because like, you can
I want to find something new, because I'm worried I'm just going to go back and watch something old again and rewatch House of Cards or rewatch Suits. Which, by the way, there's a House of Cards teaser, and it's tiny. It's like, you've seen it? It's like 5 seconds long.
I've seen it.
But it's so exciting. I watch it, and I think I watched that like 8 times over, and I'm just there like, yes. Ah!
Oh, School of Rock and Roll says try Love on Netflix with Britta from Community.
Yeah,
I've actually seen the first 2 seasons of Love. I think it's very, very good. 3rd season comes out this month, so
okay.
I do recommend that one. Jessica Jones season 2 comes out tomorrow as well.
That is exciting. But then I feel like, because I've watched Jessica Jones season 1, but I haven't watched The Defenders. I haven't watched any of the other installments of The Defenders. Am I going to feel like I'm missing out on something? Or is there gonna be big plot gaps?
I doubt it. I think there'll probably be the odd nod and the odd reference and the odd character that appears across a few of them, but I think you'll be able to watch it and enjoy it.
I mean, isn't it like watching Iron Man 3 and 2 and then 3 and not watching the Avengers in between, you know?
Yeah, sort of, but that wouldn't have been a huge deal.
Yeah, I guess not. You'd know it happens. But you'd,
someone else in chat. We'll do more chat like series and games later. If in the post show we'll talk about like games you guys are looking forward to and series and stuff. But someone has mentioned Black Mirror.
Oh yeah.
Which
you're watching it at the moment, the latest season, right?
I've watched the last episode of the latest season because for some reason the downloads on my iPad had expired for the first 5 episodes and only the 6th one was good. So. I watched that and I really enjoyed it, and I get there's a lot of references in that to episodes I haven't seen yet, but Black Mirror is a really good show.
Black Mirror continues to amaze me. Black Mirror is the kind of reason that I like watching like those good, like just good individual standalone movies, because it's the same deal. It's just cool little short films. This season's incredible. USS Callister I love. I think it's I've watched that 2 to 3 times over now.
I've been told Hang the DJ is good.
Yeah, I enjoyed Hang the DJ. That was yes, that was a good one. I do worry that they're getting a little bit repetitive with some of the technologies in Black Mirror, where a lot of it is just like, here's the thing that we put on the side of my head, and now we can see different things.
Or remember everything.
It's a lot of the same technology gimmicks, and just working a little bit differently. A lot of it is like looking back at memories and that kind of thing. That's across the whole of it. Or now we're in an AI space or whatever. I would like to see more. I know. I'd like to see them get a little bit more creative with the technologies and do something that maybe we don't expect. But certainly good show.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'll quickly mention what I've been, because I've mentioned a few times I've been to South Korea over the weekend.
Yeah, what was that? I was going to ask. I mean, obviously I know, but
again, refresher
of everyone else.
For those of you that don't know, I am my job is that I am a Hearthstone commentator, and what that means is that I will travel to wherever there's a big Hearthstone event going on, and I will provide the commentary for the top level gameplay that's going on for the tournament. I'll be paired off with someone. Sometimes there'll be 3 or 4 of us working an event, and we work in pairs, And yeah, that's what we do. And sometimes that means I'm at home for several weeks in a row because I'm not needed for anything, and sometimes I'll be off all over the place, such as recently in the last month I've been to Ukraine, Spain, then South Korea, and then in 2 weeks I'm off to Thailand. And it's a lot of traveling, which is one of the reasons I've got a lot of time to watch things on Netflix and play games on the Switch. I bought Enter the Gungeon and Celeste on my Switch while I was in the hotel, like about to fly home. I just downloaded them. Because the reason I bought them is because I was going to buy internet on the flight, which was something like $24. And I think buying these two games ended up adding up to $24. And it's like, well, I could buy internet or I could get the games. And I enjoyed both a lot. Do you play any roguelikes, Toby?
Any roguelikes?
Roguelikes. Do you even know what a roguelike is?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Roguelike is maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Roguelike is sort of like a battle royale in the fact that it's a genre of game that's really been blowing up recently in terms of popularity. And it's the game where you start, you play until you die, and then you start again. And that's what a roguelike is. So like The Binding of Isaac, for example, you've seen that. You've seen me play that. You start, you go through, you collect power-ups, you kill bad guys, you go as far as you can, eventually you'll die, and then you start the entire game again. And they're just really, really popular at the moment. Dungeon Run in Hearthstone is a roguelike.
Okay.
For example, I'm trying to think if there's any more examples that you'd.
I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Just any game. Basically, you're saying any game where you can't save, basically. You don't, or not that you can't. What were you saying?
Sure. Hang on. Mr. Wazam has sent me a Wikipedia link. Is a subgenre of role-playing games characterized by a dungeon crawl. Okay, so it's usually got to be a dungeon crawl.
Okay.
Through procedurally generated game levels. Okay, so there's an element of randomness to it, with tile-based graphics and permanent death of the player character.
Interesting.
Most roguelikes are based on a fantasy narrative, and reflecting their influence from tabletop role-playing games such as Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, sure. There's an island in Breath of the Wild where you drop in and you get all of your stuff removed and you have to.
I love that island. Yeah,
that's a roguelike.
Oh, cool.
You see what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It sounds kind of dumb when you talk about it. Oh yeah, it's a game where when you die you have to start again. It sounds a bit, is that fun? But like the way they're made, yeah, they really are fun.
Because each individual adventure, each individual story becomes your own. I would love to see a game like Breath of the Wild or Skyrim like embrace that more. Where you just drop in, you got a character. When you're dead, you're dead.
So Enter the Gungeon, one of the games I bought for the Switch, is a roguelike. And it's sort of like The Binding of Isaac. It's top down. It's a twin thumbstick shooter. But Gungeon, the whole thing is about guns, right? So there's like hundreds of different guns you can collect and find in the game. Obviously, you'll only get 3, 4, 5 in each run you do, but then you start again. You get a new one, whatever. There's all sorts of power-ups. And yeah, you just go through, you kill as many enemies as you can, you go through, you face the boss, you go down a level, you go again, you keep going until you die, you get everything stripped away from you, you start from the top. And it's just a lot of fun, and it's very silly as well. Like, a lot of the enemies that you fight are like walking bullets. They're bullets shooting guns.
Okay.
It's just one of the guns that I got at one point was a bullet that fires guns, and the guns, as they're flying through the air, fire bullets. And it's like it's very, very entertaining, very very clever design. Okay. And I enjoyed that a lot. I suck at it. Roguelikes are usually very hard.
Sure. Because then it becomes super impressive if you've got a run that's been going on for like.
Yeah, and usually there is an end. Like there is a congratulations, you've completed it. Now start again. But it's being hard. It being hard is a benefit because it means you don't get bored. Like when you finally finished it, you go back to the start, and it's not like, oh, it's easy, I can do this blindfolded, because they're still tricky. You still have to dodge all the bullets and everything.
And with that element of randomness, then it's kind of like, well, each adventure is going to be new and is going to become your own.
And it also feeds the addiction because you get better and better as you go. Like, you start complete trash, you can't beat the first boss, and then you play again, you get a bit closer, you play again, oh, this time my health lasted longer, and you just get better and better slowly. So I don't know. I've really started enjoying roguelikes. Like I said, Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, FTL, Faster Than Light, that's a roguelike. Slay the Spire, which is a card game roguelike I've been playing recently, is a lot of fun.
hard game mode, like.
Yeah,
Okay,
dungeon run.
yeah.
Basically, dungeon run the
Yeah.
game. That is what Slay the Spire is. It's just like a full, yeah. Yeah, there you go. And there's your lesson on roguelikes.
Well, I learned something today. I appreciate that. That's good.
You did. You have to try Enter the Gungeon. Like I said, I've got it on my Switch, so.
Yeah, I should really come over and play some game. Well, I will be coming over and playing some.
And there's a co-op mode on it. Enter the Gungeon, actually. So
that's what I like to hear.
We can give that a go.
Well, I'll do that when I come over. I really need to download some extra games on the Switch. We said last week that I'd get Overcooked,
yeah.
And I didn't. But this, obviously. And last week you said that you'd play what's it called? The Starship game.
Yes, and I did, and that's also a roguelike.
Cool.
And it was good. My kind of full. I don't know what the word is. Feedback.
Analysis.
No, analysis isn't.
Summary.
Report. Report. That's the word I wanted.
Okay.
My full report on that. Into the Breach, for anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about. New game that came out recently is sort of a sequel to Faster Than Light. I liked it. I liked it a lot for the first couple hours. But I played for about 3.5 hours. I didn't die once in that time. I got to the final boss and I lost. And I really enjoyed the game, but I'm worried that there weren't that many decisions I made or things that felt like they dramatically changed the experience.
Right.
Like, it didn't feel like there were many opportunities to really change the gameplay or really like shake things up. Whereas like Enter the Gungeon, you get a gun you've never had before. Dramatically different. The Binding of Isaac, you get this power up that means suddenly the way that you shoot your projectiles works entirely differently, or you're twice as fast, or you can fly or something, and it dramatically changes it. I didn't experience that in my first run through, but I need to give it another try because I might be totally wrong. Like, my next run through might be different, and I may be.
That was a big criticism that I think a lot of people had about Fallout 4, where a lot of decisions that were supposed to be decisions, which is a big part of a role-playing game, is choosing the story and shaping how it goes. Were not really decisions at all. And it just came down to, this faction won't like you, that one will. But generally, the story is the exact same experience for everyone, which is kind of not what you want in those kind of games.
But one of the things that, because I played over, I think I played over 100 hours of The Binding of Isaac, and one of the things that's really appealing about these games is, it really is just how different the runs are. Like, different combinations of enemies, different power-ups you get that then combine together and can do some pretty special things, some pretty broken things if you get the correct combinations.
Sure.
And yeah, roguelikes are a lot of fun. Is my full feedback there. But yeah, I went to South Korea, I casted a Hearthstone tournament, I came home again, I was there for a whole day. I'm a little bit jet lagged.
I bet that sort of set your body clock out of whack. That's a big part of what you do, though, isn't it? It's just like, okay, recover from jet lag.
The day I got back, I got back home at around 9 at night, and I actually got to sleep by midnight, and I woke up at 11. It's like, okay, I did just sleep for 11 hours, but this isn't so bad. Maybe I'm fine. And then last night, I didn't get to sleep until 5 in the morning. I woke up at midday, so it's like, well, okay, it's going to be broken for a little bit longer, my sleep.
Oh, well.
But, it's just nuts that I was there for a single day. Like, when I was younger, if me and my parents would visit family in Brighton 2 hours down the road, they'd say, if we're going that far, we need to stay for at least a few days because it's not worth the journey otherwise. And it's like, I just literally flew to the other end of the planet for one day and then flew back
and then came back. That's madness. If Pokemon or any company were to, pay my flights and pay my travel to go to any event anywhere, like, I reckon I could get really into that mindset and into that lifestyle because, we can play games on the go. We've got entertainment on the go. We can do work on the go in terms of laptops and stuff. Like, I think it's, it sounds like the dream.
It obviously gets boring, and especially the long flights, the flights to Asia, my enjoyment of the flights heavily depends on if there's something I'm really into at the time. Because, for example, if I could somehow play Fortnite on a flight, obviously we're years and years away from that being the remotest possibility. if I could do that, I'd probably be quite happy for the whole journey. But like, you have to have something that you really want to do in order to sort of enjoy it. And that's why buying these games immediately before the flight was great, because brand new games to play, you know. And like when I was watching Suits, it was great because I was really looking forward to the next episode. So.
That is actually going to be the future, isn't it? People playing
Fortnite on planes.
Fortnite. People dropping out of a flying digital bus onto a fictional battlefield where they're fighting 100 other players online whilst on an actual flying bus. That's going to be the future. That's nuts.
They could make it so it can make it so that all 100 players are on the flight.
That'd be weird.
Your special onboard
and
flight
every time there's turbulence on the plane, it would like mess up the players, and they'd be like, we're shooting everywhere."
This is a bit of a mean. This is a bit mean, but it's fine because nobody knows who she is. But the girl that was sat next to me on the flight on the way back from Korea, bless her, she clearly wasn't a fan of flying, because when we were taking off, she had her hands like gripped to the armrests. She was Korean, by the way, didn't speak any English. She had her hands gripped to the armrests. And like every time there was like the littlest bump, or like you could hear the wheels come back into the wing or something, every time there was any mechanical sound or any bump, she literally went like this, just completely like jumped out of her seat. But then it got worse, right? Because occasionally when you're on a flight, there's an announcement, and there's this like really calm ding sound, and then like, this is your captain speaking. But every time that ding sound happened, she jumped out of her seat again. Like 3 times in the first 20 minutes.
Oh my goodness! You know what? I'm really envious because I'm, as you well know, very scared of heights, and I'm not sure where I'm going to be at when I start flying as hopefully one day as regularly as you are for different events and stuff. I think that would be really cool to go to all these different places, do fun events, whether that's in some kind of game casting scenario or whatever. But that I'm doing a flight, I think I said this in the last stream, to Amsterdam. That's only an hour. I'm doing that this month, sort of for VidCon. And my hope is that I'm totally chill, because if I can't handle an hour flight, I'm terrified of what like trips to like America and Asia are gonna be like.
Funny, you just get used to it. Like, I definitely wasn't the most comfortable flyer, but these sort of, I mean, a few years ago I had to fly to America to be best man at Jay's wedding. That was really scary. Like, I'm pretty sure I cried at the airport when I first got dropped off there, because I was still like, what, 17, 18 or something, and I had to fly across the world on my own, and I thought, oh my god, this is terrifying.
I'm not gonna manage this,
But luckily, there were like, I sat next to this nice American lady, and I was talking to her through the flight, and it was all fine. But when I, a few years later, had to fly for the first time for Hearthstone to my first big event, I was terrified and nervous, but not about the flight. I was terrified about the fact I was about to meet all of these people that I've been a fan of for all these years, and I had to try and on stream, impress everyone and stuff. And I was so scared about that the flight, I wasn't even thinking about the flight.
Oh man. So that's it. I've just basically got to put myself in a situation where I'm flying to something more scary than potential, the fear
the potential
of
death. Yeah, okay.
The potential death. So that's what I've got to organize for myself.
Hey, statistically, the safest way to travel.
Yeah. No, that's true, because obviously there's a lot of cars and a lot of dumb people doing the cars, but there's not a lot of planes and lots of sensible people in the planes.
But I've totally lost count of how many flights I've had in the last year and a half. I mean, we're talking in the hundreds now, because it's nice. You got to understand, like, it's like my work day. I pretty much don't work without flying first now.
Yeah.
There was a period last year between April and October where I did not spend 2 weeks in the same country, like, at all.
There was, I remember, yeah.
And that's usually what it's like. Like, occasionally I have 2-3 weeks, sometimes a month off, but yeah, usually it's just pretty constant flying. And big mistake that I did make is I spent a long time not collecting my air miles, and I'm collecting them now, But the advantages from air miles are crazy because, like,
what do you get? What are air miles? I hear of air miles. What are they?
So you sign up to like sort of like a loyalty card, sort of. But basically, every time you fly, you put in your air mile number or whatever, and it just adds to your account. And it'll be with one of the airlines, but they're all partners or something. So usually it doesn't matter who you even fly with; you can still add to your air miles, and you just start to get little perks. Like one of the perks is at airports there are flight lounges where you can go into, and you have to pay like £80 or something if you want to go in and pay to go in. And it means you can just chill there. There's like a buffet and free drinks and things, and you can just chill there before you fly or after you fly. If you've got enough air miles, you just walk in.
How do you... Does it cost to be an air mile person?
No. Does it cost to be an air mile person?
Does it cost to get up? Well, I should sign up to air miles before I go off and...
No, I mean, we're talking a lot of miles before you... you actually get
them sweet perks.
But the good thing is you can actually get them retroactively. So like, I can now. I mean, I should at least claim all the ones from my flights to Asia and back because those miles add up.
Right. Sure. Well, yeah. Of course. They're not like little poxy trips to Amsterdam like I'm doing.
But like they get better as well because like the guy I was flying with the first time I went to Korea when we were going to fly back. He said that he actually has a +1. He not only is he allowed to go into a flight lounge, but he can take a +1 with him. So we're actually just both able. And he said to me, "I don't remember the last time I paid for food at an airport."
That's so ideal.
Yeah. But yeah,
that's crazy cool.
I think that pretty much sums me up. Went to South Korea, came home again, played a bunch of Switch games, watched a bunch of Better Call Saul. Played a lot of Fortnite and Dragon Ball Fighters. Yeah, that's been my week.
I've done one other thing. I've done one other sneaky thing which I've been up to, which is I've been looking at and playing Yu-Gi-Oh, which I've been well because I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh was our thing, but you know you found Hearthstone and that's fine. That's okay. Don't worry about me playing Yu-Gi-Oh with you anymore. But I've it turns out I just logged on to see if they've got like a new ban list, and they've brought back like Monster Reborn, and they've brought back they brought back like loads of cards that were limited are now at 3. So like Mind Controllers at 3 and a bunch of other guys. It's crazy now, and I'm just like, and I know the guys down at my local game store, Red Ollie, they will play Yu-Gi-Oh pretty regularly. So I was like, cool, well, I'll just check out my Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Do you remember ages ago I got excited because that card Rescue Cat got unbanned?
Yes, I do remember.
That's now at 3, which means X-Sabers, which I play, are nuts, and I'm just super excited to like.
But didn't they like dramatically change the way that the field works or something?
They brought out Link monsters, and they're fun. They're fine. They're good. I've played with them a little bit. They're not as bad as the weird pendulum monsters. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a shame that Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't seem to have an online presence anymore in terms of like there was Dueling Network and there was
Duel Links is a big deal though, right?
But Duel Links is like they play with like 20 card decks or 30 card decks.
It's a slightly simplified version of the game, but as my understanding is that it's very popular.
Well, yeah, this is it. I mean, I was talking about Shady Penguin earlier on in this stream. He makes exclusively Duel Links content, and he does incredibly well off of it. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. I mean, it genuinely got me thinking. Wait, I mean, I loved Yu-Gi-Oh for a long, long time. Is Yu-Gi-Oh the direction I want to go? But then I think about the amount of money that goes into Yu-Gi-Oh if I want to invest in that, and it's so addictive. I mean, I've been buying a couple packs here, there, and everywhere, and it's like, yeah, it really adds up. Yeah. And like only to sell the cards inside, only to sell like the big cards inside, and then play with the smaller cards. Mm-hmm. I realize Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon has done this as well to an extent recently. Very much thrives off of obviously the nostalgia of when it came out in the 1990s, and Yu-Gi-Oh clearly clocked onto this about 2 or 3 years ago, where suddenly there is always a product out that has Yugi or Kaiba or Blue Eyes or Dark Magician or one of the Egyptian gods, or there's always a product out with one of those things on the face alongside whatever the newest set is. I haven't seen that not be the case now for about 2-3 years, and I think they've clocked onto that. And I think Pokemon's kind of worked that out as well when they brought in like, okay, Mega Evolutions to jazz up classic Pokemon, and then Alolan forms to jazz up classic Pokemon. I think these franchises are beginning to kind of get a lot of the audience is the nostalgia audience, which is the, oh, hey, this is the Dark Magician. I remember they still sell that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, I mean, we were complaining about it earlier, people going, oh, yeah, Blue Eyes, I remember that card. I used to have that, ha, 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 ha. But the thing is now people will see that on a set, they'll open the pack, they'll get it as a common, and they'll think, whoa, wasn't this card really rare? Wait, what are all these other Blue Eyes cards? And then there's a bunch of, newer editions, and that's how they get those people into the game as regulars. And I think we're seeing a lot of people move over to games like in that way. And I think we're seeing a lot of, certainly in the Pokemon field, we've seen a lot of people come back into Pokemon through the latest generation. But so yeah, I've been sneaking off. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh behind your back because you got your Hearthstone. That's fine. It's okay.
No, when I can find the time and the motivation to, I will look into it. And I think I've said this to you once before. I will go away. I will make a deck. I'll buy some cards. I'll make a deck. You won't know about it. And one day I will randomly challenge you to a game, and you will be blown away by my new deck that you'll have no idea how to beat.
Nah. I'm gonna stay. Well, that's why I'm gonna stay actively on top of this game and and make sure. Do you know? I look forward to it though. I mean, we used to play so much Yu-Gi-Oh together. But I think that's maybe a good place. I don't know, to transition into the post show. I don't know.
Okay. Well, if that's everything, yeah, we talked about games coming out next year.
That's what we did this week.
We gave a quick summary of what we're up to over the next, or what we've been up to for the last week, and I talked about Into the Breach. So, Toby, I challenge you.
Yeah.
What am I playing next week? It's an easy one. Don't worry. I challenge you to have a go at Overcooked.
Oh, that's fine.
With me, preferably.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, maybe. If you like.
Is that when we're hanging out? Are we hanging out tomorrow? Are we? Yeah, Dan's Overcooked. Easy peasy.
Well, there you go. Peasy. So we will play Overcooked tomorrow and report back to you next week with what. And
let you know how we feel about Overcooked. No, thank you. I appreciate that. That's a easy one. Well, I suppose we should say, of course, to those of you who are listening to this on demand, and we should have said this really at the beginning. This podcast, we stream it live every single week at 7 p.m. GMT on a Wednesday. The episodes are going to be available on demand. The first episode is now available on demand on our YouTube channel, the Objection Podcast, which will be linked on one of our social medias somewhere in the sphere. It's not hard to find these things nowadays, people. And additionally, if you're watching live, then you get to watch the post show. But if you're listening on demand and you want to watch the post show, if you are a Patreon to me, that is a perk that's in one of the smaller tiers. That you have access to that as well on demand. So, is there anything else?
Yeah. Hey, my name is FalconeHS. You can find me on Twitter at FalconeHS. Please follow me. Please.
Yeah. I also have one of those. I'm at Birdkeeper Toby. But follow us both, please. It'd be rude if you only followed one of us. Cool. We will see you in the post show. Thank you all for watching. And yes, see you next week.